The rooms are fairly small, and you wonder how on earth you're going to sleep in here. I mean, that's just across the table from me, and there's the rack up the top there with the blankets on. As we come down the wall, there's a sink in there. Let's get a look at that. There it is there, sink and wash basin. From my table, there's the chair I'm sitting in. The bed folds out of the wall there, and speaker. I've got a cupboard in here, and a couple of other little knickknacks down the bottom here. Oh, a little fridge thing, and of course there's a mirror saying here we go. This is Watley Crescent. Changed somewhat since I was a kid. There's the blind school. Okay, we're now running up behind the Swan Valley. We're heading up towards into the hills area, and it's really quite pretty through here. Certainly a different perspective to what you see from the road. The wheat belt is very dry at the moment. Not a lot of rain out here. This is as we approach Calabaron. And the road comes back across onto the side of the train again. Okay, this is the passage of the train. Now these are all double bunk rooms, two-seaters if you like.
6 o'clock, or 5:30.
Joan and Mum, of course, have a room that's a double. There's their bed up the top. And they even have an ensuite, would you believe?
Sauce and shaved face.
This is the carriage with the single rooms, and the passageway meanders. And there's rooms on either side of the passage. And when we get here, the bed's all made up. Door doesn't open very wide, so there's not a lot of room to get in and out. Okay, Monday morning, 6 o'clock, Western Standard Time, and we're out in the Nullarbor areas. This is out in the middle of nowhere. And this is where the Connie Sue Highway starts, or from here. So it's from Rawlinna and north, up the road a wee bit, runs the Connie Sue Highway back towards Warburton. We've just passed the sign on the side of the track here, which says that this is the site of a prisoner of war camp. So those kind of yards is at a place called Marina. This is all it is.
The jokes were very nice.
This is forest.
I'll have to read that later.
This is Deacon. As with a lot of the stations, a lot of the sidings across the Nullarbor, it's named after a former Australian Prime Minister. So while we're at Deacon, this is the train going the other way, and it's the Indian Pacific going to Perth. Now, earlier on we had a look at these eyries, they're called. It's a man-made device, and eagles build their nests in the top. Once upon a time the railway line, the telegraph line used to run along the railway line. All the poles have gone, they've laid coaxial cable underneath the Nullarbor, along the railway line, and so to compensate, the authorities have built these eyries so that the eagles who used to build their nests on the top of the telephone poles now build them in those particular contraptions. Yeah, we're just approaching Cook, and in a couple of minutes we'll be on the ground and walking around and having a look at the place. Well, we're at Cook. This is a long train. Until about 1998, Cook had a population of about 300 people. And then, with the privatisation of the railway line, most of the population disappeared, and the township now has a population permanent of about 4. There's an old hospital and a schoolhouse over here. There's our train right at the very front, and then working all the way back, right back to the very back of the train. There, hiding in there is our Land Cruiser. Okay, it's time to climb back on the train. Cook is 1,523 kilometres from Perth. It's just in South Australia. Back in the early 1900s, Western Australia and the eastern states were separated by all this Nullarbor plain, and it was decided that a railway line would be built between the two. This was all part of the promise at the time of Federation. So it was October in 1917 that a crew from Adelaide and a crew from Western Australia met up in a little town called Kibblewhite, and the two railway lines built from Kalgoorlie and Port Augusta met at Kibblewhite. The first signs that we've reached the end of the Nullarbor, there in the background, hills. We now appear to have definitely reached the end of the Nullarbor. Hills in the background, and of course the vegetation is starting again. And this is indeed Kibblewhite, where the two parties met when they bought the railway line from the east and the west back in 1917. Quite a change of scenery compared to what we've had for the last 9 or 10 hours. Well, now we've come out of the Nullarbor into real desert sandhill country. We're looking for Ziggy's Castle.
That's it. That's the castle. It is.
That was Ziggy's Castle. It was still heading down towards Adelaide around about 6:30 in the morning, and we're running through the vineyard this area. At Keswick Station, Adelaide, there's the car, and it's on a whole row of motor rail, waiting for it to come off. There's a girl coming down there.